The blood stain that followed me everywhere. I never told my coworkers why I started wearing black every day. I mean, I told them it was a style thing, a new minimalist phase, whatever. But the truth? A relentless, blood-red blotch about the size of a nickel just keeps blooming on whatever I wear. I'm utterly exhausted from trying to explain that I don't have a paper cut, a nosebleed, or some bizarre vendetta against my own laundry. For 32 mornings in a row now, can you believe that? It's been the same stain in the exact same placement right over my heart. I finally snapped and had it tested. The report came back, chillingly unambiguous. Human blood, a perfect match to me. That disturbing piece of paper is now taped above my desk because if I'm losing my mind, I want irrefutable proof. Just look at this shirt. I literally pulled it from the hamper an hour ago. And no, there's no wound underneath. I checked thoroughly. Yet the fabric already smells faintly metallic, like a penny jar left out in the rain. And that spot? It's already starting to turn that familiar cracked brown crust. 32 days, 0 injuries. Try explaining that to your boss, or your mom, or even your own reflection at 3 in the morning when the silence in your apartment suddenly feels thick and the walls start ticking like a Geiger counter. I'm making this video, putting it out into the void, because yesterday the stain didn't just appear on my clothes. It showed up on the inside of my front door, 5 distinct streaks, like something had dragged its hand across the paint, clawing its way in, looking for me. If tomorrow it ends up on my skin instead of my clothes, if I just vanish, at least you'll know why. I'm nobody special, honestly. Just your average junior IT guy living in a 3rd-floor apartment with one houseplant I haven't managed to kill yet. So when it first appeared on day 1, I figured I'd just nicked myself shaving and being a little groggy, forgotten all about it. Happens, right? But then day 2 rolled around, a brand new shirt, and there it was again, the exact same nickel-sized circle. My first thought was a faulty washing machine, maybe some weird chemical reaction. I switched detergents, changed brands entirely, even borrowed my neighbor's iron-heavy well water, convinced it was something in my pipes. Days 3, 4, 5, the stain seemed to beat me to the closet every morning, as if it had been patiently waiting, neatly folded between the fibers. That's when the low-level hum of unease started. I began photographing the fabric each dawn, meticulously documenting its appearance. And the camera, that cold, impartial lens, caught something my own eyes had missed in my frantic early morning checks. Tiny, almost imperceptible capillary veins branching off the central dot, as if the blood had seeped in from underneath, not spilled on top. That's when the mundane explanation started to crack. By week 2, I'd gone full-blown CSI on myself. I bought sterile swabs, evidence bags, the whole kit and caboodle. I even splurged on a private lab, the kind that usually handles paternity suits or cold cases for the wealthy. They ran ABO and RH, then the full DNA panel. I paid extra for a 24-hour turnaround, and I spent that entire night pressing my torso against my bathroom mirror under the harsh glare of an LED light, desperately hunting for the world's smallest scab, the most invisible injury. Nothing. Not a single mark. The tech called the next afternoon, his voice a strange mix of professional detachment and genuine bewilderment. "Sample's definitely blood," he'd said. "No clotting agents, no anticoagulants, and this is weird, it's fresh, like drawn within the hour." I immediately started rattling off possibilities. Could it be menstrual? A nosebleed I hadn't noticed? Maybe a gum cut from aggressive brushing? He actually laughed, a short, sharp bark, then quickly caught himself. "Sir," he said, his tone now grave, "you're a male donor with no visible trauma. You need a doctor, or a priest." Well, I got both. My GP, Dr. Chen, ran a full battery of panels, platelet count, liver enzymes, clotting time, everything, and I mean everything,
came back perfectly in the green. He looked at me, perplexed, and suggested stress hives. Stress hives? I just stared at him, then pulled out my phone and showed him the lab photo, the detailed shot of the tiny, spreading capillaries. His jaw literally went slack. His medical knowledge, his years of training, simply had no framework for what he was seeing. Next stop, the parish. Father Rojas, a kind but weary man, listened patiently to my increasingly frantic story. He blessed a St. Benedict medal, pressed it into my hand, and promised to research stigmatic phenomena. While he prayed, his voice a soothing murmur against the unsettling silence, I noticed something. A crimson thumbprint, dried and flaking, on the worn wooden pew right beside me. It was the exact same shape as the stains on my shirts. I hadn't even sat down yet. That night, a primal fear took hold. I locked my bedroom door, stuffed towels under it to block any unseen ingress, and slept with every single light on. At precisely 4:12 a.m., the fire alarm chirped once, a jarring, solitary sound. I opened my eyes to a new warm patch expanding across the cotton of my nightshirt like spilled ink. And the towel I'd jammed under the door? It had one matching drop, perfectly round, as if something had exited, dripped, then crawled back inside.
The dread was a physical weight. Conventional science and religion had both, in their own ways, thrown up their hands. So, in a moment of sheer desperation, I found a local duo online. Ramona, a former police detective with a no-nonsense demeanor, and Luis, an audio engineer with a penchant for the unexplained. They were, shall we say, paranormal investigators. They asked for baseline readings, so I handed them the forensic report, the one confirming it was my blood with no source. Ramona's first words echoed my own growing terror. "We've seen blood before, kid, that's not from a living donor with zero trauma." They set up their gear, infrared cameras, EM pumps, even a REM pod shaped like a teddy bear that was supposed to detect electromagnetic fluctuations. Night one, nothing, just the hum of their equipment and the oppressive silence of my apartment. Night two, however, was different. Around 3 a.m., the teddy bear's eyes started flashing a steady, unsettling red. Luis, hunched over his laptop, replayed audio from a hidden mic. First, a wet, almost guttural sigh directly into the microphone. Then my name, whispered twice, so close it felt like it was right next to my ear. We ended up sleeping in the living room, rotating shifts, nerves frayed. At 3:07 a.m., camera 3 caught it, a red dot blooming on my left cuff in real time. Frame by frame, the stain grew, expanded, coalesced. No hand, no visible drop source, just matter appearing where none existed a second before. Ramona swore, a low, guttural sound, and then, with her characteristic efficiency, packed samples into sterile jars identical to the ones I'd used. Their lab later confirmed it. Same donor, same freshness. Ramona's text message sent hours later was stark. Whatever's taking it, puts it back. We need to stop the taking. It turns out I'm not the only tenant in this particularly bizarre building. My frantic online research, spurred by Ramona's grim findings, turned up 2 documented cases that mirrored my own chilling experience. The first was the infamous Bleeding House in suburban Michigan. A couple came home to find literal pools of human type O blood despite both spouses being type A. Forensics were absolutely baffled. They never found a culprit, and all the locks were untouched. No forced entry, no injured parties, just inexplicable blood. The second case involved a man named Pramod Gole in India. He experienced identical stains on his shirts. The blood matched his type, and doctors found no lacerations. Spiritual researchers, in his case, blamed negative energy ghosts. I used to scoff at those headlines, rolling my eyes at the sensationalism. Now,
I saved them to the same encrypted folder as my lab PDFs, meticulously organized. Because let me tell you, weird loves company. Knowing others have faced this impossible horror doesn't solve my problem, but it does make me feel a tiny bit less alone in my descent into madness.
Next morning, the exact same silhouette, coffee scent and all, waited for me on a fresh t-shirt I'd pulled from the drawer. My skin underneath felt strangely sunburned, though I hadn't been outside. I seriously considered quitting work. I mean, HR doesn't exactly list haunted wardrobe in their sick leave policy, do they? Instead, I bought bulk turtlenecks, taping thick gauze beneath the fabric to create some kind of barrier. Useless. The blood soaked straight through both layers, drying brittle, flaking off like red snow onto my office keyboard. My coworkers, bless their oblivious hearts, just thought I had a chronic nosebleed. I'd excuse myself to the restroom, wipe the flakes into the sink, watching them swirl down the drain, then lift my sweater. New blossom, right on cue. It was a macabre, horrifying ritual. Ramona returned a few days later, bringing a priest friend who specialized in, as she put it, house exorcisms that landlords never hear about. They burned sage, the acrid smoke filling my apartment, recited Latin prayers that felt ancient and heavy, and sprayed holy water that smelled faintly of cinnamon. The EMF reader crackled wildly, lights flickered ominously, but it was all just background noise to the true horror. The next dawn delivered day 31 stain, plus a bonus, 5 vertical smears on my bedroom wall, each ending in a distinct fingertip-shaped point, like something had crawled out of the drywall and dragged itself across the room toward my side of the bed. Ramona packed up her gear, her face pale, her usual composure shattered. "It's stronger when we push," she murmured, more to herself than to me. "Maybe stop wearing clothes for a night. See if it follows the fabric or the flesh." Desperate, I slept in nothing but a towel. At 3:03 a.m., the towel stuck to my chest, glued there by a palm-wide patch of cooling blood. No dream, no pain, no sudden jolt, just the coppery smell and the chilling certainty that I'd fed it. By giving it direct skin contact, I had somehow made it stronger. If anyone watching this has ever seen anything like this, blood with no source, a stain that defies logic, please, for the love of everything, leave a comment. I'm way past caring about thumbs up or follower counts, but algorithms treat engagement like oxygen, and right now, I need more eyes on this. More people seeing it, more people talking about it, just in case tomorrow's headline is, "Man vanishes, only clue is Crimson Door." So drop a line, share the video, whatever you can do to keep the lights on and this thing visible. Yesterday morning, day 32, the stain didn't stop at fabric. I peeled off my t-shirt and found a perfect, vivid red oval on my sternum. My skin was unbroken, no scratch, no cut, no pore visible. The color was as stark and unsettling as poster paint. It wiped away with a cotton pad, but the pad filled entirely with the crimson liquid, as if the blood had waited just for me to see it before allowing itself to be collected. I bagged the pad, added it to the growing folder of evidence. That stack of forensic reports, lab results, and increasingly disturbing photographs is thick enough to prop open a door now. Ramona, ever the pragmatist, outlined the grim possibilities. Patterns like this, she said, usually end one of 3 ways. The entity gets bored, the host moves away, or the host simply runs out of blood. Option 3, that's the one that keeps me awake. I genuinely don't know if tonight it'll jump from my polo shirt to the doorway or straight to my ribcage. I've set my phone to record a time lapse. Lights on, blinds open, fridge stocked with juice boxes in case I lose more than a teaspoon. If you never hear from me again, please check the news blotters for an unexplained pool of typo blood in a locked apartment. My blood, no body. And if these stains ever visit you, if this nightmare ever finds its way to your home, burn the shirt, see the doctor, call the priest, Call the cops. Call whoever answers first. Me, I'm fresh out of people. I've got one shirt left, plain white, hanging in the closet, like a flag waiting for color. Sun rises in 4 hours. I'm just gonna sit here, staring at the fabric, and see which of us blinks first.